We're not going to win it tomorrow, but we are going to shift what's politically possible, and we are going to build the excitement and the energy that we need to win.
Just a little sample there of Avi Lewis's rally last night as he addressed a packed crowd at a campaign tour event in Ottawa. The federal NDP has been without a permanent leader since Jagmeet Singh stepped down after April's election loss. We're weeks away from, they are weeks away from choosing who will officially replace him. 5 contenders are in the running, including Avi Lewis, who has emerged as the clear frontrunner in fundraising, beating out the only sitting MP who's also vying for the job, Heather McPherson. Now we have Rob Ashton, Tenille Johnston, and Tony McQuail, also with their hats in the ring right now for leadership. The new leader will be announced at the end of the month following a vote during the party's national convention in Winnipeg. Avi Lewis joined me in studio earlier today to talk about his platform and his vision for the party. Avi Lewis, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Be here in person for once.
Yeah, thank you. So according to Elections Canada, you have raised, your campaign has raised $780,000 since the beginning of this race in September. That's more than double your second closest competitor, Heather McPherson. Not only in donors, but also in dollars, but also in donors.
Yes.
Is this your race to lose?
Well, I think we're striking a chord. It's clear that the campaign culture and style and energy and ideas are resonating. And what we don't like to, the front-runner status is unwelcome. We are all underdogs until the finish line, so we don't intend to let up.
I wanted to ask you specifically about Quebec, because that is where the biggest wave had come, the orange wave in 2011.
Yeah.
Right now, you're having some difficulties there. Your one MP from that province is considering jumping to provincial politics. What are you doing to reach out to Alexandre Bouleris to try and keep him in the fold and to keep the NDP relevant in that province?
I mean, when I heard the rumors, I called him immediately, and I think he hasn't made his final decision yet, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, the party has to come back all over the country, but to lose our last MP in Quebec would be a blow. At the same time, I feel that it's been a long time since 2011, and the orange wave, which was strongest in Quebec, I think there's been a sense within the party that we need to recapture it. Lightning doesn't strike twice. We have to rebuild from the bottom up, from the base. Everywhere in the country, and that begins in Quebec. And we've signed up more members in Quebec, we have more donors in Quebec. It's still a relatively small number, but we believe we can grow in Quebec by taking our lead from our Quebec members and organizers and having them shape the policy and the offer and the messaging and the political culture, because Quebec has a distinct culture in every way.
I can't help but note that the language is an issue as well. I mean, of all of the candidates, I think most would say that your French is probably the best, with Heather McPherson as a close second. And your French debate was barely French. So how do you make those inroads in Quebec if the communication is an issue?
It's much more than just speaking French, but I just did an interview with Le Devoir this morning in French, and I'm coming along. I'm excited to get some time to get more immersion. But no, I think I'm functional in French, and I'm ready to work a lot more. But it's not just about speaking French. Quebec has a distinct culture, a distinct politics, the strongest trade union movement in the country, the clearest climate consensus in the country against pipelines and fossil fuels. There's so much that we can connect with in Quebec, and I think understanding Quebec's complex and specific political culture is important, as well as just the language. And so it's more than that.
I want to dig a little bit into your platform, because of course that's what you're running on right now. One of your biggest proposals, especially to generate the money to pay for a lot of your promises, is a wealth tax.
Yes.
And about 1% on net wealth over 10 million, 2% over 50 million, and 3% over 100 million. This is the exact same proposal that Jagmeet Singh had in his platform in 2025, and it was rejected by Canadians when you consider the fact that they it did get them 1.2 million votes, but it lost them 17 seats. Why do you think it'll be different from you?
I mean, I think that's a bit much to pin on one policy. In fact, taxing the rich is extremely popular in Canada. Poll after poll has shown that a vast majority of Canadians support a wealth tax. And that's because we have the most unequal economy we've ever had. 6 Canadian banks made $70 billion in profit last year alone. And the government is declaring austerity, slashing public services, cut its housing plan, which is one of our many crises, in half. And Canadians know that the country is awash in wealth. And at the same time, working class people across this land are working harder and harder, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, can't pay for groceries, can't pay rent and the mortgage, everything is too expensive. There's like a disconnect here. People know we need to get at some of that wealth that is frankly being hoarded by the billionaire class and actually reinvest it in universal public services that everybody needs.
I'll just challenge you on how many Canadians are supportive of it. A, because of the electoral success that did or didn't come with it with the NDP, but also on your own website, you say that 88% of Canadians are supportive of it. But you are actually citing on that a 2021 Abacus data survey, which was in the context of the pandemic, and it was also asking Canadians coming out of the pandemic whether or not they support a wealth tax. And in the breakdown, it was actually roughly 50% that they said that they would support it, and then 30% said that it was a nice to have. So is it really, I mean, do you have more current data for 2026 to say that Canadians still support that?
I haven't seen all of the polling. My sense is very strong that people feel that the priorities of our society are out of whack. And I will point out gently, Mike, that there appear to be gigantic resources available when a political crisis is declared and the Prime Minister proposes $500 billion of public spending in the defense industrial strategy released a couple of weeks ago in the next decade to purchase arms and to make Canada a major arms exporter on the world stage. There is wealth in this country, and Canadians are suffering the everyday crisis of just trying to get by, and we are proposing reallocating public resources to directly solve the crisis of the cost of living, and that is an extremely popular idea, and the various proposals, you know, are landing, as we've seen in the momentum of our campaign. We had more than 800 people packed into a church in Ottawa last night for a race that is supposed to be off the radar, for a party that's supposed to be on life support. So something is happening under the surface of Canadian politics. I believe the NDP is at the beginning of a historic comeback, and we could argue about poll numbers, but politics is also about momentum, energy, feeling, and sensing the moment, and we're striking a chord right now.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. I promise to have you back because I got a lot more questions for you.
Let's do it.
Avi Lewis, candidate for NDP leadership. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Mike.